I am making the incredible announcement on this program that a computer program called Stellarium predicts exactly when the Bible prophecy of a woman clothed with the sun will be fulfilled. Moreover, this prediction coincides exactly with my own previous prophecies that Jesus will return at Armageddon in the fall of 2017. I discovered this program called Stellarium somewhat by accident last week when I watched 3 videos which claimed that this great sign of a woman clothed with the sun will be fulfilled this fall when the comet Elenin passes by Earth. Of course, I realized right away that this was impossible because this great sign occurs just before Armageddon. It is a warning to the Antichrist. As Daniel says, the Antichrist will be troubled by tidings out of the east. And that is what this great sign refers to. Let's take a look first of all at this prophecy as found in the book of Revelation. Revelation 12 verse 1. And there appeared a great sign in heaven, a woman clothed with the sun and the moon under her feet, and on her head a crown of 12 stars. Now the woman, of course, represents Mary, but also the church. And this prophecy has more than one fulfillment, I am sure. For example, it was partially fulfilled at Fatima when Mary appeared to the 3 shepherd children. And Revelation 12 verse 2. And she, being with child, now the child of course symbolizes Jesus, cried, travailing in birth, and pained to be delivered. Now since she is delivering the child in pain, the woman in this case symbolizes the church. When this prophecy is fulfilled, all 4 aspects will be in evidence. First, the woman will be clothed with the sun. She will have the moon under her feet. She will have a crown of 12 stars, and she will be in childbirth. Now let's look at the Stellarium program for this coming fall on September 29th, because that is when the videos I watched claimed that this prophecy will be fulfilled. Here we have the constellation Virgo, which appropriately symbolizes the Blessed Virgin Mary. So far this could be the woman clothed with the sun. The artwork is not too great because her right hip is up here, whereas actually her right hip, according to the stars, is down here. And her left hip is way down here, quite a ways distance from her left hip in the artwork. And the artwork shows Virgo in a reclining position, whereas actually she is in a birth position with her hip bent and her knee bent. The date is 2011 in September 29th, and this is the date given by the 3 videos which claim that the constellation on this date symbolizes the woman clothed with the sun. However, there are quite a few discrepancies. First of all, the moon is not really under her feet, but rather off to the side. Secondly, the planets which would symbolize the birth of Jesus are Saturn and Venus. This does not make sense because the woman should not be giving birth to twins. Also, the stars are above her hip joint. In other words, they are still within her womb. If the woman clothed with the sun were giving birth to either Saturn or Venus, they should be located down here below the hip joint. Also, Saturn is not a good symbol for Jesus because Saturn was a father god symbol, the father of Jupiter. And Venus, of course, is feminine. So neither one of these planets symbolizes Jesus. Now we do see the woman clothed with the sun because the sun is located at her left shoulder. But the real problem, the biggest problem with this configuration is that the woman has no crown of 12 stars. Now if I move Virgo a little bit to the left here, we can see that above her head is the constellation Leo. Now Leo has only 9 stars. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Therefore, this configuration cannot be the woman clothed with the sun. And I am not discounting the premise that this prophecy of a woman clothed with the sun will be seen in the constellations. Remember, when Jesus came the first time, his coming was announced in the stars, the Star of Bethlehem. And the three kings from the east recognized the sign. That's why the Bible calls them wise men. There's no reason why it won't be the same for Jesus coming at Armageddon. And the amazing thing is that we can see the stars that will announce his coming 6 years ahead of time due to this amazing computer program called Stellarium. Now let's take a look at September 23rd, 2017, because I believe this will show the fulfillment of the Bible prophecy. Once again, we see the constellation Virgo, symbolizing the Blessed Virgin Mary and the woman clothed with the sun. Except now the year is 2017. The month is still September, but the date is the 23rd. Now we will find all four requirements fulfilled. First of all, the moon is definitely under her feet. It's not off to the side as we saw before. Secondly, she is giving birth to Jupiter. Jupiter is located below her hips. And Jupiter is a much better symbol for Jesus because Jupiter was a god who was the son of Saturn. Thirdly, the woman is still clothed with the sun. As we see here, it's by her left shoulder. But the clincher is that she now has a crown of 12 stars. Now if we move Virgo to the left, again as we did before, we see that above her head is still the constellation Leo with its 9 stars. But now we also have Venus, Mars, and Mercury for a total of 12 stars. In other words, all four requirements are met with the constellation Virgo and the constellation Leo on this date of 2017, September 23rd. This is the date that the Antichrist will see this sign in the sky. These are the bad tidings which upset him. He will see the woman clothed with the sun. The fulfillment of the prophecy of the woman clothed with the sun on September 23rd, 2017, as shown in this computer program Stellarium, is truly amazing. Notice the date, by the way, the 23rd. We know that 23 is an evil number because 2 is placed before 3, or 2/3, and that symbolizes 666. This sign will be a warning to the Antichrist. Also note that Jupiter begins with a J, just like Jesus. Jupiter symbolizes the Son of God. Now with this amazing Stellarium program, we can actually see the birth of Jupiter, that is Jesus, from out of Virgo if we back this up to the 1st of September 2017. And I will advance it and we can see Jupiter being born as we approach the 23rd and go by the 23rd. Now this is the 25th, but as you can see the moon is out of position already. Let's back this up again to the 1st and you can see Jupiter being born again out of Virgo. Now this is starting on the 3rd. Let's watch Jupiter being born again through Virgo. And if we stop at the 23rd, this is the only correct place for the moon to be under her feet and the 3 stars, the 3 planets, part of the crown. Even if we advance it by 1 day to the 24th, the moon is already quite a ways beyond her feet. So let's go back to the 23rd and the moon is in the correct position. If we go back to the 22nd, the moon is not under her feet. Therefore, we can conclude that the 23rd is the only day in which this Bible prophecy will be fulfilled, that the moon is under her feet, that Jupiter is being born, and the 3 planets, Mercury and Mars and Venus, have been added to the 9 stars of Leo to make up the crown of 12 stars. Now, in order to better see this crown of 12 stars, I traced out a diagram. It's quite interesting how the configuration of this constellation looks like a crown. Here we have Leo, and the primary star in Leo is Regulus. And when you include Venus, Mars, and Mercury, you definitely have the shape of a crown. In fact, up here at the top, you have, I don't know what this part is named, but I know on the British crown, a Celtic cross is included in that part. Definitely, this fulfills Bible prophecy. So in conclusion, I want to thank you who made those videos, because if you had not made them, I would never have learned about this amazing Stellarium program. And even though you were inaccurate in your analysis, they helped me discover a verification of what I've been saying all along. And that is that Jesus will return at Armageddon in the year 2017. Now, I know many of you do not like me giving dates, but the reason God is giving us the date for Armageddon is we will need that consolation during the reign of the Antichrist. We must know that his reign will come to an end. The date we do not know, and the false prophets keep giving this date, is a date for the rapture. That you must be prepared for at all times. When Jesus says he comes like a thief in the night, he is not referring to Armageddon, because at Armageddon he will come with power and glory. He comes at the rapture like a thief in the night. You must keep your wick trimmed and oil in your lamps. And I am not discounting the importance of Comet Elenin. I believe Elenin will be an extremely significant fulfillment of Bible prophecy. And I hope to do my next video on this important topic. And if any of you would like a free copy of my book, Revelation Unraveled, you can write to the address you see on your screen or send me a private message to my YouTube channel.